Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video, y'all. I'm actually getting ready to go in, so I'm doing some ironing right now. But I didn't know if I had made this point clear, but part of life for people, so people understand how life works, is your ability to play chess, not checkers, right? And I say that with all sincerity, okay? So anytime your back is against the wall, or at least for me, um, one, I work well when my back is against the wall. That's number one, right? I don't do well in the initial stage of things, but for the most part, I do very well when there's a lot of pressure. Okay. For those of you guys who don't know, when a company does not want you working there, it is not necessarily your responsibility to be like, up, I'm out, right? Obviously, if you can do that, great. If you can't, cool, right? What people have to understand is if a company is trying to push you out, right? They're not going about it in a legal manner. Okay. So a lot of companies will intentionally isolate employees. Um, they will ignore employees. They will treat employees like, just like they ain't shit, right? As a means to try to push the employee out so that there's a least um what's the word? There's no room for any sort of ramifications. Okay. So why would I give the company, especially when I know that the owner moves a certain way, right? Why would I give them that benefit to let me go without a valid reason to let me go? Because again, attitude is perception, right? It's all perception. So just because you perceive that I have an attitude doesn't actually mean I got an attitude. That could be just how you perceive it, right? So obviously there was more to this than just me having an attitude. That's why the conversation, the owner realized he's in the wrong, right? It's one thing if the employee is just completely making a fool of themselves. It's a whole other thing when, like I say, the issue starts from the top down, right? So in these conversations, like I said, I can see that the man is fully aware that I'm not. I don't think he knows to what extent I know, but I think that enough has been said to where he understands that this ain't the right move, right? Um, Granted, like I said, I could feel like they don't want me there, right? And that's cool. But why would I give someone the satisfaction? Because you don't get to make that call. Do you understand me? Like, there's only like employees have rights. And I'm not being a rebel. Like, if I was being a rebel, like, I just feel like I'm not being a rebel. I just didn't get fired. So what am I like? And I didn't beg for my job. We were having a freaking discussion. He asked me what my thoughts were. And I said, okay, well, if we're going to touch on these attitude, let's talk about everybody else's attitude, right? If you're going to talk about why I isolate myself, well, let's have that conversation, right? If you're inquiring about my door being shut, let's talk about it. Then you make your decision of firing me. Like, have that conversation in balance because he asked me my point. Now, as a person, I could have been like, no, I have nothing to say. And then maybe I would have left, but the circumstance isn't fair. I'm going to express how I feel because I was given the opportunity to, right? And in that conversation, that's when the owner realized, damn, okay, this ain't the right move. Not at least not right now. And we can speculate why. Like, trust me, we know why that conversation happened the way that it did. Um, but I'm not in a place where I'm going to be bullied out of my position simply because you don't like my personality. That's crazy. Um, and even if I am bullied, right, out of my position, it better pay me something. You know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna go through this, then it better be worth some money. You know what I mean? Like, that's my attitude about everything. I don't feel like I feel like when employees do not utilize their rights, you end up in jacked up situations. That's why you see a whole bunch of people homeless right now. You know? I'm not willing to put myself at risk for the sake of me and my pride and all that. Like, if I had to say my pride was in the way, it would be on the fact that I'm not quitting. That shows that I'm better than my pride. Right? Because I technically haven't been fired. That's what the conversation was, that this is what I was going to do. But after talking to you, I'm not making that decision. So that's what happened. It wasn't like I was like, sir, no, give me my job, please. No. It's just he didn't have all the facts. So if you're going to fire me based upon the facts, not some made up rumors and bullshit that ain't got shit to do with me, you know? That's essentially what that conversation was. And when a company doesn't want you, like, granted, in my situation, I feel like I've got a little bit more leverage than in other situations I've been in. Okay, if that makes sense. I know who I'm dealing with. I know how they think. I know their mind, how they treat people, what they're trying to and to not get away with. I'm aware of all these things. Let's put it that way. I'm aware of how other people went through what they went through, right? So this is not like, I'm not in this and being like, oh, I just refuse to quit. Like, no, I wasn't. What am I going to quit for? In my opinion, when somebody's poking the bear, and they're doing it for a reason. So when they want to poke you and poke you and poke you, you have the choice to either snap or respond with intelligence, not like emotion. If I rage quit, that's me quitting with emotion. That is my pride. You understand? So me saying, you know what, I'm gonna find a solution that works for me so that I'm protecting myself at all costs. Because now all it's done is tell me, okay, you got to work on protecting yourself. That's it. That's all I learned from this. You know, obviously nobody else is going to do it, so I got to do it. That's really what I took from this. You know? I also recognize, like, I've been invited, like the staff invites me to like their cookings. Like, we've got a brunch that we were invited to recently. That I'm just like, I don't really know if I really want to participate with staff. Like, I'll be friendly, but I don't know if I really want to make this like a buddy system. Like, I don't think that I'm trying to be anybody's friend. I'll be polite. That's it. I just want to do my job in peace. So I just want to be clear that sometimes rage quitting seems like a fair thing to do, right? You're like, hey, I'm going through X, Y, and Z. This is what I'm experiencing. They don't appreciate me. They don't want me there. So boom, I'm a rage quit. But people don't understand that's what companies want you to do so that they don't have to take on a level of accountability that they should. A month's worth of pay for the month that I already worked. Like, that's the thing too, is like, it ain't an additional month. This is we're halfway through this month. I done already worked. So for me, and it's not beneficial to give me, and I want to clear up. The income I probably would have received was probably more like $3 or $4 grand. you know, which is cool. But again, that's all my bill. That's 1 month's worth of salary. What the fuck? You know, and maybe, right? That's the route I could have gone. But then after that month is up, I wouldn't had an opportunity to collect unemployment. And my thing is, I'm not willing to go through the same experience again because I've been through it enough. And I'm talking about just on other jobs, just here in the state, that I'm not willing to go through it again. So how I see it is, what's most beneficial for me is if I get fired and then I'm able to take live off the unemployment. If I got to do Uber for a little bit, I can, but focus on building my business that way. At least I have an income for the 6 months that I'm free. I could be studying, you know what I mean? That's kind of more what I'm looking at. So that's the ideal situation for me. But knowing who I'm dealing with, when you're dealing with a company that don't even have HR, you got to understand they're trying to minimize their risks as much as possible, their liabilities as much as possible. So you're going to do things to cut corners so that things are not done properly. And so if a person is like, hey, I recognize this company don't want me there, they're trying to push me out, yada, yada. The best way to go about that is to stay in your position, document everything. And if you have to seek legal ramification, I don't know about doing that while you're hired at a job. Like, I don't know about all that. But seeking some sort of ramification for that, like legal ramification, if you have to. But and making sure that, because when they fire you, aren't you, I believe you get represented if you're doing unemployment and stuff. There are people there that protect you. You know what I mean? In that field. So you don't want to rage quit, especially when that's their goal, right? Unless it's like something that you can afford to lose. If a company is trying to push you out but not fire you, that tells you the integrity of the person running the company, not necessarily the company itself, but the person running it. And that should also let you know that they're trying to cut corners. They're trying to get out of having to be legally responsible for their decision, whatever that looks like, right? It doesn't always end up in a lawsuit. Sometimes it's just the unemployment benefits. Maybe a company don't want to have to pay you. I've seen it with this company and people who have, gotten fired. I've seen it, where they fought the unemployment and tried everything they did. Like, the guy even offered the woman her job back in the unemployment because he didn't want to pay her. Do you understand? So when you're dealing with small businesses, sometimes some shady things be going down. I don't know if it's intentional. Like I say, I just think, again, from a business owner standpoint, you're trying to mitigate as much as you can, without having to pay as much as you can. I respect it. I get it. But it's just like I say, when people know they have a level of power over you, they're going to keep doing it. Right? So if I was to give these people that, I don't want to give them that power. I want them to have to work hard for getting rid of me if that's what happens, and or me leave when it makes sense. I think this will do. I need to iron the back. Yes. Fudge. Hate this dress, you guys. I love it. That's why I'm wearing it. I hate it at the same time. So just know that there are ways, and I'm not naive to those ways, right? To protect yourself as an employee at all times, even when you're being made to feel like you're not wanted there. It's not easy to deal with the stress that comes with, a boss or an employer employer trying to push you out of a company, right? It's definitely not easy. And I've been in worse situations, like way worse situations. In terms of God, geez, hang on, y'all. Me experiencing like being pushed out or just not being liked on a job or whatever. And so understand that that's when a company is doing that, it's simply because it benefits them to do it. They don't want to fire you outright, but they're going to make your existence miserable while you're there. Keep in mind, when we had this conversation yesterday, everything that I was having an issue with, essentially, I brought up. So everything was kind of touched on. So meaning that the expectation moving forward is that those things get corrected. Does that make sense? So understand that you have rights as an employee. You just got to know them, right? You've got to be able to clearly articulate what it is that you're going through, right? What it is that you're experiencing, right? If you're being called out for something that everybody else is doing, that's a problem, right? Speak up. Something I made a mistake of, which I've heard before, is that you should be telling on your employees. I just thought we were adults. So anytime I, engage with a level of disrespect from an employee, I just chucked it up to the fact that we're adults. And, I don't tell. That's a big part of my problem. I don't go and tell on people, but I will be telling on folks. I'm serious. I'm at a point where if this is what you're telling me I need to do, I'm going to be writing down everything and send it to them, right? And email everybody is what protects you. So that I can be SOL and be silent. So it's trying to push you out. It's intentional. And you can either bite the bullet or you can let them push you out. But understand that if they're pushing you out, it is illegal. That is not the proper way to go about things. It's just a subtle way of doing things so that you minimize, they minimize what they're going to have to do on the back end. That's it. And how I see it is, if I got to suffer, you finna suffer. I've never been the girl to back down from a challenge, right? Never. So I'm not going to give these people what they want, right? And like I said, it's not me being like, I just want to stay here even though I don't like it here anymore. Like, no, I'm beyond what I like and don't like, right? It's beyond that for me. It's about playing the game and playing it right so that the person that comes out on top is me. That's it. It's all about looking out for self. That's it. I'm looking out for me because nobody else is doing it, right? So in the meantime, I have some plans today. I'm going to create my log. I'm going in early today since I left a little earlier yesterday just to kind of make up for it. I'm going to create my log as soon as I get in. As soon as I get in. And I'm going to keep keeping y'all updated on this because I know a lot of Black people are going through this experience and it's become like a trending like topic. And I want to show Black people just kind of how I'm dealing with this, right? and my experience and how I'm handling it moving forward. I mean, the biggest win I have is the fact that they can't say shit about my work performance. Okay. Because once your work performance comes into question, that's when you're kind of losing that argument, right? They want to fire you, they have all grounds to fire you. But for a personality conflict, that's not a reason to fire nobody. It's not a legitimate reason to fire anybody. So, yeah. I don't think the best bet is to rage quit. I've said that time and time again, especially when you've got a lot to lose. The best way you can go about these types of situations is strategizing your exit plan. Creating an exit plan is something I've been doing. Seems hopeless right now, but I think some of that is just my mindset and how I perceive things, right? To be. But that's all you need to do is document everything and create your exit strategy, you know? And I'm in the process of figuring out what my exit strategy may be. Okay. So I think what for me, I'm going to have to pivot. It can't be tax. If I'm going to try to get as much money as possible with the less stress as possible, I may have to go back into like doing bookkeeping for somebody else, which that's fine as long as I keep my pay the same. So that's probably, I think, more of what I'm looking at, not tax. Because again, depending on where you're at, tax is paid less. Sometimes it's paid more, it just depends. Okay, this is better, much better. So I already updated my resume, but I think I'm gonna start sending them out today and just applying for some bookkeeping roles. My roles can pivot. So this is a situation where I think I would get a bookkeeping position a lot quicker than I can get into like a tax, even though I do tax. But like I said, I don't know if I'm willing to work for a firm to experience the same exact shit that I've dealt with already, right? I would rather work for a small business doing their books as an office manager or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at, you guys. Like, I'm not tripping. Like I said, the conversation went a lot better yesterday than I thought. I just mentally it's hard because I know what's actually being said. I know what's not being said. I'm a Pisces. Like, I wish I could take the intuition part away, and I can't. But at the same time, I feel like I've been given the tools. I feel like my boss was right in terms of me telling, because everybody else telling on me. Shoot, I might as well start speaking up instead of just doing it on YouTube. Like, I be stressing. I be, sharing my frustrations on YouTube, no problem. But I don't snitch in real life. I just don't believe in that shit. And I don't know if it's called snitching. It's just how it feels. Like I'm a little kid telling on you. But that's the route that I was told to go by the owner. So I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep y'all tuned in. That being said, y'all, I'm out. Peace. All right. Oh, let me do my hair.